Welcome back to Motip. Tonight we revisit one of the most heartbreaking true crime cases in British history. A story that revealed how the system failed to protect its most innocent victim. A toddler whose short life was filled with pain, neglect, and cries that went unheard. This is the story of Baby P Peter Connelly. Peter Connelly was born on March 1, 2006 in North London. His early photos showed a healthy, happy baby, wide blue eyes, and a cheeky smile. His mother, Tracey Connelly, was only 24 years old, a single parent struggling with depression, unstable relationships, and little support. Peter's biological father, Carl Connelly, separated from Tracey soon after Peter's birth. Carl tried to stay in contact with his son, but Tracey often refused to let him visit, a decision that would later haunt him. Tracey Connelly's own life was marked by chaos. She had grown up in a violent household, left school early, and became pregnant as a teenager. Social workers were already familiar with her name before Peter was even born. Reports described her as emotionally volatile, often neglectful, and easily influenced by men. Despite those warnings, she was given another chance. A chance to prove she could be a good mother. But instead, her home would become the place where her son suffered the most. In late 2006, Tracey met Stephen Barker, a 32-year-old man with a frightening past. Barker had a record of violence, animal cruelty, and disturbing behavior. He was known for his temper and controlling personality. To neighbors, he seemed cold and unpredictable, the kind of man people avoided. When Barker moved into Tracey's flat, everything changed. Friends said Tracey became isolated, family visits stopped, and all of her attention shifted toward him, leaving Peter more vulnerable than ever. Not long after, Barker's brother Jason Owen also began staying there. The small flat now held 3 adults and 1 baby, and it soon filled with shouting, tension, and violence. Neighbors heard screams and thuds through the walls. One recalled seeing Peter with bruises and scratches, but Tracey brushed it off, saying he had just fallen. Doctors, health visitors, and social workers saw Peter more than 60 times in the 8 months before his death. He was even placed on the Child Protection Register, meaning authorities officially recognized he was at risk. During one visit, a doctor recorded bruising on Peter's head and a missing fingernail. On another, he was brought in with a broken rib. Yet each time, Tracey's excuses were accepted. No one removed him from the home. On the morning of August 3, 2007, Tracey Connelly dialed emergency services. Her voice was calm. She said, "My baby's not breathing." Paramedics rushed to the home in Tottenham, where they found Peter in his cot, pale and lifeless. They tried everything, CPR, oxygen, resuscitation, but nothing worked. Peter was just 17 months old. The post-mortem revealed the horrifying truth: a broken back, 8 broken ribs, missing fingernails, dozens of bruises and bite marks, in total more than 50 separate injuries. When detectives questioned Tracey, her story quickly fell apart. Stephen Barker denied everything, claiming Peter was already hurt when he arrived. Jason Owen said he didn't know what had happened. But the evidence told a different story. Months of systematic abuse, neglect, and starvation. Police charged all 3 with causing or allowing the death of a child. In 2008, the trial of Tracey Connelly, Stephen Barker, and Jason Owen began at the Old Bailey in London. The prosecution described a house of horror, a child treated with unimaginable cruelty. The jury heard that Barker was the main abuser, while Tracey allowed it to continue. Tracey Connelly pleaded guilty to causing or allowing the death of a child or vulnerable person. In May 2009, she was sentenced to imprisonment for public protection, with a minimum term of 5 years. Stephen Barker and Jason Owen were convicted of the same charge in November 2008. Barker received a life sentence with a minimum term of 10 years plus a 12-year concurrent sentence for a separate offense. Owen's sentence was reduced to 6 years on appeal. Years later, Tracey Connelly was released on license in 2022, only to be recalled to prison after breaching her parole conditions. Carl had repeatedly warned social services that Peter was in danger, but no one listened. His grief became the voice of every parent failed by the system. The media initially called the child only Baby P, but soon the world learned his real name, Peter Connelly. The British public demanded answers. How could a baby be seen by doctors and social workers dozens of times and still die? A serious case review revealed catastrophic errors. Health visitors missed clear signs of trauma. Police failed to act on domestic violence reports. Social workers trusted Tracey's lies over their own instincts. Top officials in Haringey Council were dismissed and the government overhauled child protection policies nationwide. Peter's case led to the creation of stricter child safety protocols across the United Kingdom. Social work training improved. Information sharing between agencies became mandatory, but for many, those changes came far too late. Peter Connelly, Baby P, became a symbol of both innocence and failure. Peter never lived to see his second birthday. He was failed by his family, his community, and his country. His story is a reminder that evil doesn't always hide in the shadows. Sometimes it lives behind ordinary doors. This is Mo Tip. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories where tragedy and justice collide. Until next time, stay safe and take care.